So if you watched my recent video about the Drone-Tweaks FCC hack, and I tested to see whether it was possible to load up the FCC hack on the RCN1 and then hot swap to the RM330 so that you would still have the FCC mode engaged using this RM330. And my conclusion at the end was that you couldn't do it, it wouldn't work. You could only fly in CE mode. Well, I asked at the end of that video if anyone had a method of doing it and making it work, to either leave a comment or a link to a video showing that it could be done. So Jim Thorley did that. He said it could be done, and Jim made a little video of him doing exactly that.
Transmission. And there you can clearly see, hopefully, there's your 1K up there. If she was in CE mode, that line would be right on the 1K. So the RM330, the Mini 3 Pro, is in FCC mode with the Drone-Tweaks hack.
So thanks for that, Jim. I've watched your video, I've analysed it too, and it's a fantastic video. And it seems that Jim has got this to work. So I thought I'd come out and try to replicate Jim's method, because he uses 5 additional things that I don't do in my video, and I probably should have to have been fair and to see if it would have worked. Right, I can simulate 4 of the things that Jim did. I can't simulate the 5th thing that he did, and I'll come to that later on and explain why. But if I carry out the procedure the way Jim did and add in those 4 things that I can add, it's possible that it may work here. Now, the first thing that Jim did differently from me, and he said you have to do, and if you read the instructions, it tells you to do this. Well, Jim, like most men my age, I'm no one for reading instructions, and that's probably what let me down. So the first instruction is go outside. Jim says you must have a GPS signal for this to actually work, for it to transfer over from the RCN1 to the RM330. Now, I tested it indoors in the studio and it didn't work. So I'm out here in the open air with a good GPS signal to see if that's going to make it work. The second thing that Jim did that I didn't do, when he switched from the RCN1 to the RM330, he clicked on rebind. So I didn't do that. I just cancelled that feature. Maybe that had something to do with it as well. So I will rebind to the RM330 today. The other thing that Jim did that was different from what I did is that before switching over to the RM330, Jim turned the RCN1 completely off.
Now, what to do is we switch off the RCN1. Move that away. I
didn't do that. I left the RCN1 on and then just repaired, not repaired, but repaired with the RM330. So I'm going to try, before I pair with the RM30, I'm going to try switching off the RCN1. And another thing that Jim didn't do in his video, but I think he'd already done this and I didn't do it, is update the Drone-Tweaks hack. Now, if you saw in my last video, I said that if everything's working, my philosophy is don't try to fix it. So I'm not going to update at the moment because everything's running fine, and if my philosophy is if something's working and it's not broken, don't try to fix it. So I only update when something isn't working, or if there's a new feature comes in I don't have. Possibly the update will allow the hot swap to work. So I'm going to update Drone-Tweaks hack today as well. And the 5th and final thing that Jim did that I can't do today is that Jim carried out this entire test with an Android device, an Android phone, and I'm using an iPhone. So if I carry out the 4 steps that I've just outlined there and it still fails to work, it may be that it doesn't work with an iPhone and only works with an Android. But we'll come to that and see if there's any solutions that I can come up with at the end. So let's get things up and running, and I'll load in the Drone-Tweaks app and update it. That's the first thing that we'll do. Well, it's the second thing, because the first thing I did was come outside. So here's Caledonia, my Mini 3 Pro, and I'm just going to boot her up now. And this is the RCN1, and I'm going to boot it up too. So what I'll do now is I'll boot her up with just the DJI Fly app, the standard one. And I imagine I'll have to repair Caledonia with the RCN1. So I'll do that now. I'll repair Caledonia. And the way you do this is when it's searching for aircraft and it wouldn't be able to find it or unable to connect or something along those lines. There we go, unable to connect to aircraft. You click on that and then you hit pair and you hold down the power button until it goes into pairing mode, like that. And then what will happen is they'll eventually pair. And there we go. So Caledonia is now paired with the RCN1, and she's in the standard CE mode, which is the mode that we have here in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland when you use the standard DJI Fly app. So I'm going to change the bound device. The binding's successful. And if we just go into, in fact, let's launch her. Let's launch Caledonia.
Take off. The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
So there we have her. She's in the air. And there is an aircraft in the sky. So I'm going to keep her here at just 2.6 metres in the air, and I'm not going to go any higher than that. That light aircraft's about 1,000 feet up. Certainly not going to go any higher than this. In fact, we'll bring her down to my height, which is about, what, 1.2 metres. Right, and we'll just keep her there because there is an aircraft, a light aircraft flying up there, just about maybe 1,000, 1,500 feet. Right. So Caledonia, you'll have to go back a bit so your noise doesn't interrupt with what I'm doing. So there we go, there's Caledonia back there. And if we check by clicking on the three buttons in the top right hand corner and go into transmission mode, we can see that if you look along the left hand side, the top grey line is just below the -90. And the bottom grey line is just below the -100, which tells me that Caledonia and the RCN1 are flying in CE mode. So I can't repair while she's in the air. So I'm going to bring her back in and land her. Watching I don't fall down any wee potholes. Right, so now that she's landed, what I'll do is I'll switch over to the Drone-Tweaks FCC hack, and the way I'll do that is I'll make sure that the DJI Fly app is closed, and then I will tap on the FCC DJI Fly app. Now Jim says that to fly in FCC mode, you must delete the DJI Fly app.
Now the thing with the Drone-Tweaks is you delete your Fly app, and once you've paid the monies and whatever they send you, it's a different app. All works the same seemingly, yet to try it.
You don't have to do that. And it's crazy to do that anyway, because if you do that, you can only then fly with the Drone-Tweaks hack, and that's in FCC mode. There may be a legal issue there, there may not. I'm not a lawyer, I can't advise you on that. However, what I would say is you don't actually need to delete the DJI Fly app to install the Drone-Tweaks FCC hack. Even although the apps look identical, they both have the same icon, You can keep them both on your device. Right, so anyway, enough nonsense. Let's get the Drone-Tweaks FCC hack. And it's telling me there that FCC mode is now enabled to fly with caution. I'm going to do that. And there is an update, so I am going to update it this time. Oh, if I can. So here we have it installing. It does take a wee while. It takes a couple of minutes before it will start installing, but be patient and let it do that. Okay, so it now seems to be installed, and if I open it up now, once again I'm getting the usual message telling me to fly with caution. So I'm going to click OK. It seems to be uploaded. If I click Go Fly, and once again, if I, let's take it off. Up you go, Caledonia. So if I now check by going into the three dots, into transmission, looking down now, you'll see that the top line, the top grey line, is now above the -90. And the lower grey line is now above the -100, and that tells me she's now in FCC mode. So far everything's working well. So let's get to the crux of it and the whole point here. Jim says that he can hot swap and it'll all work. So this is the Jim Thorley method, and I'm going to copy it. So let's bring Caledonia into land. And what I'll do now is, as Jim says, I'm going to power down the RCN1. Power this one down, just like Jim says. And then Jim's method is to power up the RM330, keeping the drone switched on, as Jim explains in his video. The link to Jim's video will be in the description, so have a look at that if you want to see Jim's full method for doing it with an Android. So Jim says keep the drone switched on, but switch the RCN1 off. So the RCN1 is now switched off, and I'm now going to switch on the RM330. And now I'm going to hit the connection guide. I'm going to select the DJI Mini 3 Pro. It's searching for the aircraft, and I'm going to have to repair because I've switched over controllers, and I will rebind as well, which I didn't do previously. So it's unable to connect to aircraft, so I'm going to click on that and I'm going to click pair, and then I'm going to hold down the power button until it goes into pairing mode. There we are. So it's now in pairing mode. And there we go. The RM330 and the DJI Mini 3 Pro are now paired. So let's get her up in the air. And the wind has picked up quite a bit in the last couple of minutes, and I will now change the bound device. There you go, the binding's successful. And let's check what the transmission mode. So the three dots in the right hand corner, transmission. And you can see here quite clearly that the top line is below the -90 and the bottom line is below the -100, which tells me that she's still in CE mode. So even although I've carried out all of the procedures that Jim carried out and all of the things that I missed the first time, the end result is still the same. The drone and the RM330 are still in CE mode. So Jim says he had success with doing it, and I'm not disputing Jim's account of it. You can watch his entire video and see what you think, whether he has confirmed that it's actually in FCC mode or not. If it is, if someone else can confirm that, or if Jim can go out and do a test with flying the two different modes and maybe give us a screenshot of the signal for both flights, then maybe we can come to a better conclusion. The only conclusion I can reach at the moment is that if Jim's correct and he has managed to hot swap, then it can only be done with an Android device. Or the other conclusion is that I'm still doing something wrong here. But that's twice I've carried out the test now, and I think I've been quite thorough this time, and the result to me is quite clear that the drone is still in CE mode, even although she was flying in FCC mode just a few minutes ago with the RCN1. So make up your own mind, go to Jim's video, have a look at it, give him a thumbs up. While we're at it, why don't you give me a thumbs up? If you're not subscribed, why not just click that subscribe button? It's not going to cost you a penny, and it will help my channel grow a wee bit. But I'd like some of you nice subscribers, you nice viewers to become subscribers. So if you feel like doing it, give us a thumbs up, click that subscribe button. Thanks a lot, I'll see you next time.